So remember when I told you all that there are multiple people that I believe are playing their designated roles in this whole Charlie Kirk psyop, and not just the people that was physically there on the campus when the whole Charlie Kirk incident took place. Now enter this person. I want you all to take a listen to the self-proclaimed Zionist Megyn Kelly, as she not only shares with us what she believes truly happened to Charlie Kirk that day, but she also explains how she feels about the way in which Candace Owens has been covering it.
Speaking of lying, I want to like Megyn Kelly. She sometimes is fun to watch. Sometimes she gets some stuff straight. Too often times she's a propagandist pushing talking points for the establishment, even though she's not in the corporate. Well, she is. She works for Sirius XM, which is how she got on the corporate algorithm on YouTube, which is why her show blew up. Because if anybody wanted to watch her, they could have watched her on NBC, and nobody did.
Exactly. And for those of you who don't know, yes, Jimmy, I 100% agree. Megyn Kelly pushes propaganda to control or influence the minds of the masses. But we shouldn't be surprised about that when you look at the history of who Megyn Kelly is. But not only that, we shouldn't be surprised when you consider the fact that Megyn Kelly started a media company earlier this year in 2025 called MK Media. She's known for controlling the minds of the masses, or trying to influence the minds of the masses, and she starts a media company called MK Media. Does that MK stand for Megyn Kelly, and or does it stand for something else? I don't know, like MK Ultra. Begs the question.
But anyway, she's now being helped along by the corporate algorithm on YouTube. And of course, I'm jealous because I would like to be on that algorithm. I had to earn all these while being branded what they call borderline content. So they suppress us. Here is Megyn Kelly being asked about the Charlie Kirk investigation. And let's just watch as she uses the wisdom of Solomon to cut this baby in half so that nobody is happy. Let's watch.
Now, let's talk about the Candace Owens of it all.
Okay.
I love her, and I really do feel like there's potentially truth to what she's saying. What do you think? Is there something nefarious going on?
Are you talking about Charlie's murder? So I don't listen to Candace's show, but I am 100% convinced that Charlie was killed by Tyler Robinson, a crazed leftist who murdered him because he didn't like Charlie's messaging on the trans issue.
No freaking way she believes that. How is there anyone left, especially someone with the access to research as a Megyn Kelly? How is this possible? This is what I mean when I say these people play their roles, and they played their roles very well. Allegedly, everything I say in this video is alleged. This is the same Megyn Kelly who's been in media for the past, 20 years. I know I've said many times on this channel, a lot of us want to believe so badly that these people are everyday people that work hard to get to where they are, but they're not. I believe these people are characters, bro. I do. You don't get to 3-4 million subscribers and have all this influence and got these media companies pushing you to millions of people. You're getting hundreds of thousands of views per video, sometimes millions of views. You don't get that level of access unless, bro, it's mind-boggling to me. This is the same Megyn Kelly that has hosted presidential debates. I need you all to understand the level of influence, the level of connections, the amount of connections, how deep you have to be in the mix to be hand-selected as one of the people chosen for a presidential debate. You talk about clout, you talking about influence, you talking about popularity, you talking about movement, you're talking about exposure. Megyn Kelly has seemingly been the person chosen to be in these very high-ranking positions. Then when you look at Megyn Kelly's podcast show logo, I find it very interesting that she has this M on the side of the Megyn Kelly show. That seems to have an emphasis on the M. Reminds me of Gmail. A lot of you all may not think about this, but the mail right here, the M right there on Gmail is very, very similar. Again, a lot of people don't think about that. It's very similar to something else, right? This is the old one, and then there's the new one. But let me show you what it's very similar to. Well, we all know what it looks like. It looks very, very similar to this, right? Very, very similar to this. This is what most people see at the top. This is what most people think about at the top. When I see it, I see something completely different, right? This is the same Megyn Kelly that has signed close to, if not over $100 million in contracts working for the establishment media. Do you all even begin to understand how much money that is? She signed a 3-year contract with NBC News for $69 million. She signed a reported contract extension offer with Fox News Channel for over $20 million a year to stay with Fox before she jumped to NBC. She signed a book deal with HarperCollins for a reported $10 million deal. Not to mention the current multi-year deal she's currently under with SiriusXM for her hosting her own show beginning in 2021 and beyond, which is what Jimmy was just alluding to.
That is my firm belief after having talked to the people at Turning Point, the FBI, the security team that was on the ground, and many others.
So after talking to Turning Point, what does talking to Turning Point have anything to do with Tyler Robinson? How could talking to them help you better understand or help you better have clarity on if you should believe if this person did it or not? What information would they have for you? Aren't they the victims, the indirect victims of what happened to Charlie Kirk? That makes no sense.
And I've come to that with a good faith basis, and I have nothing that would shake me from it. I don't begrudge anybody asking questions, and I understand the controversy around where she's gone with it, but I think it's really kind of a matter of your preference for your broadcaster.
She said she don't see anything that can shake her from it. Like maybe the overwhelming evidence that's been out here to suggest the contrary to what they've been telling us. Where do these people come from? Where do they come from? And I'm gonna go back. I want you all to notice that when she first said it, they barely clapped. They barely clapped. Kudos to that crowd. They're not just believing that nonsense.
Something nefarious going on.
Are you talking about Charlie's murder? So I don't listen to Candace's show, but I am 100% convinced that Charlie was killed by Tyler Robinson, a crazed leftist who murdered him because he didn't like Charlie's messaging on the trans issue.
They barely clapped. All those people, and a lot of them look like women. Shout out to them. They aren't believing the nonsense, lady. This is the same Megyn Kelly that worked closely with a guy by the name of Bill Hemmer, a guy who was part of a fraternity called Delta Chi Delta. Look at the logo for Delta Chi Delta. Does that look familiar to any of you all? Not to mention that this same fraternity that this guy, who has an interesting background himself, who worked very closely with Megyn Kelly, this fraternity actually merged back in 1886 with a secret society known as the quote-unquote Rainbow Fraternity. Would you like to know what the Rainbow Fraternity stands for? It's also known as the Mystic Sons of Iris. Yes, you heard me correctly, Iris, who to them was the personification and deity of the rainbow, even though we know the rainbow is first ever mentioned in the scriptures. It says here, and the group's founders went to great lengths to incorporate symbolism connected to the rainbow of Iris into the fraternity's emblems and constitution. This is the same Megyn Kelly that faced a lot of backlash back in 2013 when she came out and responded to an article, letting the article know, listen, we live in a time when people are trying to take Santa Claus, who is a white man, has always historically been a white man, and they're trying to make him into a black man. Deal with the reality. Santa is white, always has been, always will be. Even though Santa is a fictional character, why do you care? The same year, and in the same article, she also came out and said, regardless of how people feel about it, Jesus Christ was a white man, deal with it. When she received a lot of backlash for making this silly statement, she then backtracked and said that she actually was speaking in tongue-in-cheek.
You know, Candace is many people's cup of tea, and she's not other people's, and I'm the same. And I haven't responded well to people demanding that I try to police her speech, because that's a leftist thing. It's not a right thing. So if she's not for you, that's fine. But if she is, that's fine too. And what she says about this particular matter, look, I just give her a lot of grace because I know she's suffering. I know she really loved him.
I respect her for saying that she won't publicly come out and speak out against Candace. Cool, you get some points for that. But at the same time, think about what Megyn Kelly just said. I give her a lot of grace because I know she's suffering, she's hurting, and she really loved Charlie. First and foremost, why are you buying into the left-right political binary paradigm that all of these people are trapped into when they're two wings of the same bird? But furthermore, when people say things like, I give them grace, that is the new way or the new age or the new version of saying, I really don't like what you say. In fact, I hate what you say, but I'm not going to publicly say that in this very moment, but I'm going to keep my opinions to myself and not tell you how crazy or how much I disagree with what you're saying. Which in my opinion, it can almost be seen as disrespect when you say, I'm going to give you grace. What does that mean?
And I think this has been very hard on people who actually knew Charlie and really loved him. Oh, thank you.
So there you go. Megyn Kelly has talked to everyone who's been lying about this and proven to be liars, and they assured her that Tyler Robinson did it.
There's nothing that changed my mind. He's guilty, and he will be prosecuted and executed.
And one more thing, she doesn't listen or watch to prominent people who have amassed a wealth of evidence undercutting that story that she believes in. But she knows that Candace is wrong because Candace is sad.
Yeah, well, I mean, Megyn don't want to get hit next.
So
she knows where bread's buttered.
So there's Megyn Kelly sounding like Don Lemon. And I know she's smarter than Don Lemon. I know she's actually smart. So what Megyn Kelly's doing there is not being honest. And I don't want to say she's a full-blown liar, but she's lying right there, because there's no way in hell she actually believes the bullshit story that has been told. There's no way. There's no way. Do you really think that he went up there and Tyler Robinson on his own went up there and took that gun apart? Have you seen videos of people trying to take that gun, disassemble the gun?
Exactly. And I've even went as far to say that, and this is not hyperbole, this is not exaggeration, there is over 200 red flags with this case. How can a person like Megyn Kelly get up there and say that in good faith, unless she's supposed to say that and she knows that she's lying? It's because I believe these people are playing roles. These people are paid off. These people are characters, in my opinion. Everything I say is alleged. You got to remember, this is the same Megyn Kelly who, right after everything that happened with Charlie Kirk, came out and shared this weird, random, out of the blue story about how somebody put a curse or a hex on Charlie Kirk, and the name of the organization was Jezebel. I covered this in my video about the movie Snake Eyes.
Storm out there.
Because at the beginning of this clip, as you just heard, he said, "Do you hear this storm out there?" Listen to what Nicolas Cage says in response.
I wish it would blow this whole town
No. Who's she?
She's the one who came to me in the first.
He said, "Who's she?" He mentioned something about a storm. Nicolas Cage responds and says, No, who is she? Let's take a listen to what was said during Charlie Kirk's memorial.
Erica is the storm. Erica is the storm.
You heard it first. He said Erica is the storm. But let's move on. Yesterday when I was watching Candace Owens' show, by the way, in my Erica Kirk video, which is my last post, many of you were saying that you sent that video to other larger content creators. If you send this video right here to Candace Owens and she chooses not to cover it, then we'll know for a fact that Candace Owens is controlled opposition, because what I'm about to show you is undeniable. She covered yesterday on her show a clip from Megyn Kelly, and I remember watching it thinking, that's a very random and odd thing to share at this time, but still Megyn Kelly decided to share it. Let's take a listen to what Megyn Kelly told us.
Last week, that 2 weeks before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, the far-left website Jezebel declared that it had a mission to cast bad luck or a curse on Charlie. They wanted to hurt him in some way. They declared, quote, "If the far-right misogynist with a bad haircut wants to villainize independent women, Jezebel is more than happy to be the hag of his nightmares." And they went on to the website Etsy, yes, Etsy, to, quote, "cast a curse on him." Yes, this is actually a thing. Etsy, the website known for making arts and crafts on demand, will happily cast a hex through its witches, who you can hire, on someone if you ask them to. 2.5 weeks after those curses were requested and cast, 2 days after Jezebel published that article, Charlie was killed by an assassin's bullet. Erica and Charlie Kirk heard about these curses, and that news genuinely rattled Erica in particular. She knew Christian teaching on the subject. She loved Charlie, absolutely.
Why would you specify and say that a wife loves her husband? Why would you go out of your way to say that? Well, of course, they're married. That's a very odd thing to say. But let's continue.
And she was scared when she heard of the curses Jezebel had called up. So much so that she and Charlie contacted a friend, who I believe she said was a Catholic priest, but definitely a friend, and asked him to come over and pray with them over Charlie the night before he was murdered.
Now I want you all to take a listen after Megyn Kelly decided to share this random story about some hex that was put on Charlie Kirk, and how Erica Kirk in particular was so bothered and frazzled and rattled, with an emphasis on Jezebel, which, if you don't know, Jezebel in the scriptures, on 1 Kings 16 through 21, Jezebel is the queen of Israel. known for wickedness and idolatry. One would even say promiscuity. Let's listen to a clip from the movie Snake Eyes.
Along with 14,000 fight fans who have braved Hurricane Jezebel.
Cut! Anthea, they want you to call it a tropical storm, not a hurricane.
But it is a hurricane.
Yeah, well, it's also a holiday weekend, so will you please just call it a tropical storm?
Well, it looks like Tropical Storm Jezebel just may be a hurricane after all.
Anybody still in denial? That's why I believe these people are characters.
And then reassemble the gun. So he went up there, assembled the gun. Do you know how long it takes someone who's an expert to doing that?
A long time.
A long time. And then after after he shoots him, he disassembles the gun. You know how long that takes? Someone who knows exactly what they're doing and is a highly trained professional with that gun. It takes them well over a minute. And that's without the adrenaline pumping through their body. So there's a lot of adrenaline that pumps through your body. In fact, let me show you how long it takes. So Joe Rogan did a takedown of just this one aspect. There's a million aspects of this story that make no sense that Kash Patel is trying to tell us and that the establishment is telling us. There's a million things that don't make sense about this, like that they paved over a crime scene 5 seconds after someone got murdered there. They scrubbed it. They stuccoed it over. That, again, just like JFK, just like RFK, this is an assassination. This is by a team of people. And for Megyn Kelly to say that, as smart as she is, I know she's full of it. And here's just one thing that completely debunks.
Yeah, but this is, once again, this is Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly doesn't care about the facts. This is also Megyn Kelly, who claims to be a Christian. She claims to be a Catholic or a follower of Jesus. But even though some reports say that she's a part of a sorority, I'm not going to say it's an absolute fact that I know that to be a case, because there is conflicting information. But she 100% supports the idea of joining fraternities and sororities, and here's a clip proving it.
Sorority trend is all over X and TikTok right now, and it's all these sororities, mostly at these SEC schools, recruiting. It's like Pledge Week, Rush Week, whatever. I have a dear friend whose daughter actually happens to be at Clemson. She's not in Tri-Delt, but she's in a different sorority, and they go back early, and they put on Rush, and they recruit, and what you see coming out of these girls is these amazing recruiting videos and efforts trying to say it's fun to be a young woman. It's fun here. Come join our sorority. Yes, some of them are over the top with like their material values. There's an article in the New York Post talking about it, not at Clemson, but at some universities, they go so far you have to have like a Cartier watch or what. Okay, no one's condoning that. But the vast, vast majority of these videos are young women who are loving being young, smart, and beautiful, and it's awesome. People online are trying to attribute the jean shorts to this Sydney Sweeney ad. I think you've gone too far, people. All right, this is the kind of thing that requires choreography weeks in advance. I'm sure they had their outfits ready, and jean shorts were a thing before Sydney Sweeney. I do not think this is a Sydney Sweeney thing. As happy as I am about her ad, I think this is a young women of America are happy to lean back into being hot and together and free and unmasked in every way.
Even though we've proven on this channel multiple times what fraternities and sororities are actually about. It's not just about sisterhood or brotherhood or becoming a better woman or becoming a better man or, working together for relationship and networking. We've had Melissa Blair come on, who's went viral all over the internet, actually exposing what fraternities and sororities are actually about. The rituals, the things that they have to veer reverence to. It is 100% demonic, and there isn't a single fraternity and sorority that is an exception. We went over this, and we've debunked this multiple times. So how can a person like Megyn Kelly come out and support it unless she's a part of the same problem?
What she just said. Watch Joe Rogan.
The reassembly. I do not buy that. Yourself. Unless this kid has secretly been training like John Wick for the past 6 months. So watch this guy break this down.
Now, if I take a shot and immediately disassemble this, I have to remove the bolt, remove the magazine, grab my Allen key, hit the 2 bolts on the bottom, put those away in the Allen key, grab my Torx key, remove the scope, put everything in the backpack, make sure I have everything, and make my way downtown. Okay, which is going to take a lot longer for him than it is for me, especially because his fine-tuned motor function, something as simple as grabbing an Allen key to a little bolt, is going to be extremely impaired due to a dump of adrenaline throughout his bloodstream, an extreme elevated heart heart rate is going to make these fine-tuned skills extremely difficult. I mean, just for him to think and analyze of what needs to be done to disassemble this rifle and get away would be difficult. And we're not even going to touch the top.
Right now he's 47 seconds and he's struggling and he's totally calm.
Yeah.
And he didn't just shoot a guy.
Right.
And then he's supposed to get it in that stupid fucking backpack. It's literally,
look at that backpack.
It makes no sense.
Comment down below and don't hold back.
Okay. So that's just one thing that is so easy to debunk about Kash Patel's story, about what actually happened. Megyn Kelly doesn't know this? Really? You do this for a living? You knew Charlie Kirk personally? You know Candace Owens personally? But you don't watch her show. You don't watch the person who's single-handedly debunking everything that they say about this story? You don't want to get informed about that? No, I talk to all the people who are lying. And that's how I know. That's like, yeah, I talked to Dick Cheney and George Bush, and turns out, yeah, that plane that didn't hit Building 7, that's what brought it down. A plane that didn't hit the building.
Exactly. I can't take these people serious. She reminds me of the pastor that I just had on just the other day, Pastor John Amachubu, who was a TPUSA pastor, who came on and was like, he don't understand people who are doing all of this. It's all right to ask questions, but there's a sensible, logical way to do it. What are you saying, bro? It sounds like you're discouraging people from asking questions and flipping over all stones. That is exactly what Megyn Kelly sounds like. Even though Charlie Kirk literally gave his last interview to Megyn Kelly where he was complaining about certain things to Megyn Kelly, and now all of a sudden she's just accepting whatever narrative is given, despite the evidence that's presented that's proving the contrary. Y'all have in the comment section to give me your thoughts on what you think about this, man. Till next time. Peace. Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.